Hello and welcome to the two-man power trip of wrestling. I am your host, JP John Paz. With me today, very special guest, the daughter of the legendary Dusty Rhodes, obviously the sister of Cody and Dustin Rhodes. She is Mrs. Teal Rhodes. Teal, welcome to the two-man power trip. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
So what's going on? What's the latest? I know obviously the Dusty Rhodes Foundation is kind of kicking ass and taking names.
It is. We've been off to a great start, especially since the A&E documentary aired, and we kind of launched the foundation. We had done a couple cons, we had done a star cast, but we've just been really humbled by all the donations we've been pretty much steadily receiving since the doc aired.
That's amazing. What did you think about that documentary? Because everyone kind of gave it, the thumbs up. They gave rave reviews on it.
Yeah, it was over a year in the works from when we started, and it was really a family project. All of the all the photos, all the old clippings, the notes from his booking journals and stuff like that, those were all things that we had kind of housed and kind of turned over, and we think it came out great. There were definitely some tense moments getting everybody to agree to do it and to be interviewed. But I think as a family, we were really pleased with how it came out.
Very cool at the end to get all four of you guys together because like obviously everyone knows Cody and Dustin, but to get you and
Yeah.
your sister in there too is very cool.
Yeah, it was great. And for us to all be in Austin, it was really, really special.
And obviously we saw you at WrestleMania too. I know Cody didn't finish the story, but we saw you at WrestleMania too.
He didn't, and I've always been an ugly crier, and when I saw him come out, I was just so emotional. And then he put these pictures of me crying, and the WWE put the pictures of me crying, and I was just like, man, rough night for the fam, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So every year I do a Dusty Rhodes tribute episode. I was the last one to, unfortunately, it was the last one ever to interview him. We had joked around because I got to talk to him after. He goes, next time you bring a big bag of money. Easy for me to say, bring a big bag of money. He goes, and we'll do a million of them. So I mean, just obviously joking, being funny, but man, just crazy that was 8 years ago. Now it's just nuts.
Yeah, it's sometimes it seems like no time has passed at all, and then sometimes it seems like long years for sure.
When you look at like the passing of Dusty, it was crazy. Like the wrestling world, it was just everybody just they felt that, and it was just like wow, I can't believe he had passed. Like what was that like for you when you kind of go back? I mean, it just got to be the worst, right?
It is. There's never a good time to lose a parent. Cody has a doc coming out, and we kind of get more into the right after for us as a family. But he hadn't been ill long. He was at work at NXT the day before, and it was very shocking. And really, the heartbreak from wrestling fans was it was a lot. But I always felt grateful that people wanted to share their memories with me on Twitter or reach out that.
Oh, sorry, lost you for a second.
Yeah, I think we're back. But
Yes,
yeah,
yes, we're back.
it was a very difficult time for us as a family. We all were just we really relied on him for a lot, and we just weren't ready to lose him.
It's funny, like if you look at like Cody and Dustin, like did you ever think of like getting into the business? Did he ever want you to be in the business when you look at it?
Um, he did not want us to get into the business, my sister or I. The industry was different for women then, and I mean, I still believe it's harder for the girls just in general. And there was so few spots for women then. I never strongly considered it. My sister did want to train after her professional cheerleading career was over, so I think she did think about it a little bit, and I don't think he was too keen on that either.
What do you think about the business, like in general, even growing up? Did you think like I like the business? Like, I love what my dad does. Like, what did you think about wrestling?
Yeah, I'm a wrestling fan too. I always have enjoyed wrestling, but I've always been involved kind of behind the scenes with some of the stuff Cody's done. And I think I prefer that as far as the business is concerned. But yeah, we're super proud. We say that it's our family business for sure.
Did you ever think about, or have you ever gotten into the ring and done anything, even jokingly?
I have, yes, but really nothing. I haven't taken any bumps. We joke that that would just not be allowed. Even when we had to get into the ring for some tribute things and stuff like that, somebody always has to make sure I can get through the ropes. I'm not going over.
How was Dusty? Obviously he wrestled a lot, but I think that was more towards when Dustin was kind of growing up. So how was he as a father when you're
Yeah.
growing up?
So really he was at the end of his in-ring career towards our kind of school age experience. So he was home a lot, and we moved to Atlanta when WCW was here. So he did go to the office quite a bit and still traveled. But Cody and I always went on the road anyway. So
You were saying Cody, you guys were always on the road with him.
we did go. We traveled as a family when we were young, and then when he was full time behind the scenes with WCW, he was home all the time. So he was at all the plays, all the sports games, everything like that. But we're a really close family. When you grow up in a business like that and you move around all the time, it's just easier to kind of stay in your own little world as a family. And that's certainly true for us.
And he was Cody's football coach, right? At one point.
Yeah, he coached football. He coached me in softball. I was a horrible softball player. I'm actually outside at my son's travel ball baseball practice now, which is why I'm in the car. But yeah, he was a big sports guy, and he loved coaching.
Now, I guess all the athletics you're saying went to Cody and Dustin and not to you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I played fast pitch softball until I was about I want to say 14, and I finally was like, I do not want to play this anymore. Both my parents are big sports people.
When you look at just say like the wrestling business in general and like everything that goes into it, did you think that it was kind of taking Dusty's time, like it taking your dad's time away from you guys too much, or like you said, you guys were kind of
No,
understanding to it?
no, not for us. For my older siblings, certainly when he was on the road, 300 days a year, that was different. But we didn't have that same experience just because of the big age gap.
So how was he like on a personal level as a father? At just kind of even growing up, like how was he?
He was the best. He was so funny, and Dream was smart. He knew all kinds of things about art and music, and he wanted us to have big dreams. And he was so encouraging as a dad. We always say he was like the most optimistic person that you would ever meet. He really never thought it was too late to do something different, or to go after a dream, or to try something new.
What's something like surprising that we wouldn't know about him, like as far as the dad, like growing up with him as dad?
Hmm. There's a lot of things. He was such a big personality, someone who was so kind of bold on TV, but he was quiet at home. He was very thoughtful person, kind of more introspective at home, I think. And, there's lots of things. He was a great dancer. He was, he loved to joke. He just had a full life outside of the business too. And I think that's why so many people still connect with him.
It's funny when you watch old clips of him playing basketball. I know, I was shocked. It's like, wow, he was actually really good at basketball.
So it goes viral. That one
Yeah.
NWA clip goes viral every year. I think like maybe it was 2 years ago that Barstool retweeted it, and I was just my phone was blowing up all day. But we played basketball in the yard a lot. We always played horse, and he never let us win. Never. He Dusty could hoop.
I don't know why I was shocked. Maybe because he's like a bigger guy. You think of like, oh, he's probably like he's into football or whatever. But he was actually really good at basketball. Maybe that's a quick dancing feat. Maybe that's why he was good. Oh, I was saying
Sorry,
yeah.
is it me or you?
I think that might be you. I maybe because I seemed like it's okay on my end. It might
Okay,
be your connection, I guess, maybe where you are. But
I think
I was saying like those quick dancing feats. Maybe that's why he's good at basketball.
maybe, yeah. But he was a three-sport athlete in high school, and he almost played professional football. He could have played some professional baseball. I think baseball was probably his first love as far as sports go, but he was a great athlete. I mean, he was all I believe all state in Texas in football, and obviously went to school to play football eventually.
When you look at it, did he always want to be a wrestler, or did he really want to play like some sort of professional sport?
I think he wanted to be a wrestler. I think that was always it for him. He grew up going in Austin on Friday nights to wrestling, and it kind of combined that side of him, that theatrical side, and the sports side. It's like the perfect mix.
Get to do both. So he's really creative. Like he's really into that stuff. Did he watch a lot of movies? Was he into that genre? Because it seems like he got a lot of his creativity from movies and things like that. Oh, I was saying, did he get his like creativity? Like, did he watch a lot of movies, a lot of TV?
He did. He was a big movie guy. I believe he was involved in drama club in high school as well. So kind of a renaissance man, but movies were really big for us. We went a lot as a family, and Dusty always had that passion. He wanted to be a director. He wanted to be in movies, and he really did look at pro wrestling as like a movie, like a film.
Love John Wayne too, right? He was a big John Wayne
He
buff.
did. Big John Wayne, Gene Hackman, a lot of westerns, but he liked some other stuff too. He'd surprise you. He kind of had eclectic taste in music and movies.
Is Liberty named after the John Wayne movie Liberty Valance? The man who shot Liberty Valance. Is that the connection?
I don't think so, but I have never thought about that before.
I was just thinking that
So
because I know Cody had mentioned he loves John Wayne too, or he likes John Wayne because his dad likes John Wayne. But yeah, that was interesting. I wasn't sure if that was the reason though, because I know the John Wayne influence.
yeah, I think it's just a funny coincidence. I think that they just liked Liberty because it was patriotic.
With Dusty and his career. When you really look at his career, like what do you think stands out to you just as far as his wrestling career?
I really think it's the scope of his influence on the industry. It's not just one thing. It's not a great promo or, all the long Broadway matches he had in his prime. I think it really is his.
No problem. I could just I'll edit it down. It's no problem.
So sorry. It's it's just one of those things doing it in the car. But if we do need to redo it, I'm happy to do it another night too.
Okay, cool. But you were saying about what you thought most about Dusty and his
Yeah.
influence on the business.
I do. I think that it's just the overall arch and scope of his career lasting for so long and him being so influential for so many young wrestlers in the business. I mean, it really, he just has such a huge influence still today.
When I look at it, even with me, I barely knew him. I spoke to him 3 or 4 times. We did the interview with him, but it was just like he would like say Johnny. Only like really my dad would call me Johnny. So, but it's funny.
Yeah.
You felt like a connection. You felt like a closeness with him, and he would always be super nice. But it's like
Yeah.
wow, barely know him, but I felt like we were like buddies. It was so interesting.
He was a genuine person and he was genuinely interested in, other people and, the world. And I think that that's part of his charm.
And it's pretty awesome, like, if you look at his legacy, because he's awesome, right? I mean, and then he's a booker, he's awesome, he's an awesome wrestler, but
Right.
then for Dustin to be so good and for Cody to be so good, I mean, how would you say, like, the overall legacy of the Rhodes?
I think that, it's extraordinary. And my brothers are so different, but they are really alike in their artistry and their contributions to the business at different eras has been really impressive. And sometimes it's hard to step out of that big shadow. But I say, we didn't grow up in a shadow, we grew up in a light. And I feel like now, as Justin's in ring career's probably winding down, he has his wrestling school. Cody's giving back in that way too. It's just, I'm, very proud of them.
The Dusty Rhodes Foundation, is that a big part of keeping his legacy alive too?
It is. And we're so passionate about it. Something he privately did for years was pay for kids to have sports equipment or to be able to participate in camps, or, he would pay the fees, privately, anonymously for a lot of people. Some people we knew, some people we didn't know. And when we wanted to start a nonprofit to honor him, we knew that youth sports was going to be our focus. There's just so many kids that are getting priced out of playing sports with just the cost of everything being so high. And we really want to fill that gap for underserved communities.
That's amazing though that he would do that, and maybe people didn't realize he was doing it. You know what I mean? That's real charity.
Right. Yes. He was very, very generous person.
So when you look at you're on obviously you're on Roads to the Top when that was on TV. Do you like and on the documentary? Do you like being on TV or you want to stay away from the limelight?
No, I mean, I don't mind it at all. I was an actor for years, and I like being on camera. Not always, especially with some of the reality TV stuff. Maybe that wasn't my fave.
When you look at that though, Dusty probably loved that you were an actress, right? I mean, he wanted Cody to be an actor, right? At one point.
He did, yes. We went out to LA together to pursue that and to study acting. So those were definitely Dusty influence things, especially for me, early on.
What happened that didn't work out? You just didn't click with the acting, or you didn't get the
I think
the bug?
I didn't love living in LA. I think I'm an East
Yep.
Coast kind of girl, but I've still had some really. My kids are older now, and I still, since Roads to the Top, I've had some good opportunities to audition and to do some things. So you never know.
So you're saying reality TV is not for you? You don't really like reality TV?
No, I did not love it. But it's like anything, you're playing a character, and they really want some far out there stuff. And I think that just kind of us as a family, we are pretty public, but some things you like to keep to yourself, I think.
I was surprised. Your mom's a bit of a firecracker. I was surprised by that. I don't know why.
She's she's a legend. She truly is. There's nobody like Michelle Rubio Runnels. She's just she's very opinionated lady.
So when everybody or anybody wants to look up the Dusty Foundation or maybe donate or
Yeah.
do something, how could they do that?
So you can go to DustyRhodesFoundation.org, and we have a donation button there. We also have the Instagram, which is Dusty Rhodes Foundation, and we're a 501c. All of your donations are tax deductible, and to date, we have taken no administrative fees other than what PayPal charges us. We've given it all back. And we've kind of done all kinds of different projects. We just bought some wrestling mats for a girls program that needed them so they could practice separate from their boys in a high school in South Carolina. So it's just things like that we're helping out with and looking to do more.
Just going back to wrestling for a second, do you have a favorite Dusty match, moment, feud, angle? Because you said you were a fan. Do you have a favorite from Dusty?
I do. I liked I loved him and Macho Man together. I was a huge Macho Man Sherry fan. That was probably the old WWF was from that was my favorite. But really, his early feuds, with Rick to me are still kind of rarefied air. But I still always go back to the Shield match in Buffalo with my brothers because that was the first time they had been in a ring together, and I thought it told such a great story.
Man, the promos leading up to it too, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Dusty was he was on fire at that point, and then him getting involved in the match was great.
it was, and Dustin wasn't supposed to come back full time, and then he had a great match with Randy, and it was just one of those things that kind of it was all clicking into place, and it was kind of just a moment in time, and he didn't want to be an old guy wrestler, and I don't think he really wanted to do it, but I think he was glad after that he got that opportunity with his boys in the ring.
What about promo wise? Do you have a favorite Dusty promo? I mean, everybody's got one. Do you have a favorite one?
I do. I like the cold-blooded sausage maker because he talks about me in it, and that's an early NWA. He's got like some wild hat on. But I think that the view never changes that they talk about in the doc and kind of tell that story. It's not easy to watch, but it was so real. That is one of the great wrestling promos.
Man, I love Hard Times, but View Never Changes. I got to talk to Dustin about it, which was awesome. Like, I
Yeah,
couldn't believe I got to ask him about it. Man, if you watch it, I watched it the other day. You almost get like emotional about it. Like, you
yeah.
almost like get fired up, and then you get emotional because he's like, "Arn Anderson, you're a walk behind her. You
Walk
know
behind
you
her. You don't want to be
yeah
a walk behind her. We tell our
yeah."
kids all the time, you don't want to, when you're walk behind her, the view never changes. You got to be a leader.
I love that Dustin didn't know what he was going to say because you could watch Dustin's face. He just gets really emotional because that was such a good, I mean, heartfelt, really like a personal promo. It was real.
Yeah.
They Funk and Arn obviously turned his back. Obviously, Terry Funk, of course, Dusty's
Oh
big
man,
legend.
Terry Funk, he just, whoo, tough man right there. Egg
You know
sucking
what's
dog.
you know what's funny about him? Forever, I really thought they hated each other, but
Yeah, me
Doctor,
too. Me too.
I was talking to Doctor Tom. He's like, "Oh no, I was in the office at FCW and they were hanging out." I'm like, "No, no, how could that be? They can't be
No,
hanging out."
I don't believe it. I don't believe that.
Anybody that you look at like Funk, when you look at it, like who's Dusty's greatest rival? Would it be Funk or Flair, or who's his greatest rival?
I think it's Flair. I think it's Flair. I never wanted to be around Rick when I was little. I would see him in the back and I would just glare at him, It's when everything was it was different and it was, so real and so real to the fans. So I think Flair. We joke as a family that his greatest opponent was the IRS.
He didn't pay his taxes, I guess, huh? Oh, that's
He
great.
did. No, they made him, but he got a little behind for sure.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you. With him, it's crazy because I've been doing this tribute show really for the last 7 years. I've
Yeah,
had on superstar Billy Graham, which was awesome, and unfortunately he just passed away. But he said
yeah,
Dusty was his favorite opponent. So I mean, I've had some Tully Blanchard, Arn, the walk behind her himself was on. Nikita
yeah,
Koloff, Dustin came on.
yeah.
Had Cody on a bunch of years ago. So just awesome to be able to get you on too. Just amazing to be able to interview the whole family at one point. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you'll have to do Kristen next year and get another foundation plug for us then.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll have
maybe an update.
and I'll have to get the legend, your mom on too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna want to be careful. You're gonna want to have. We'll have to prep her.
Yes, yes. So I got to ask you though, is Cody going to finish the story? Is Cody Rhodes going to beat Roman Reigns? Is he ever going to finish a story?
Well, I hope so. I would never bet against Cody. Anybody who ever has been proven wrong. So I think he will.
Was that real emotion from you? Were you really upset when he didn't finish the story?
Yes. I never like when my people lose. When they're getting pinned, it's not fun. It wasn't a fun bus ride back to the hotel from the beautiful SoFi Stadium, that's for sure.
Were you like shocked? Because it seemed like everybody was kind of shocked because they thought that that was going to be the moment he was going to finish.
I grew up in the business, so I was not shocked, but I think we were all still pretty bummed. There was some real shock. I was ringside, but we had a suite for the family, and apparently in there it got pretty heated, from what I've heard.
To me though, you saw you guys were down by ringside, saw Brandy, so you're like, oh, he's definitely going to win. They have him sitting
Yeah,
ringside. He's got to win. Nope.
nope,
Any
not
ill,
not
any
that
ill
time.
will. Yeah, I guess it's not the time of it. Any ill will towards Roman?
Yeah, a little. I'm real big on revenge, hard feelings. It's kind of my thing.
He's a dusty guy, though.
How about that? I mean, so many, Seth, who I think is just phenomenal, talent. But yeah, another Dusty guy that Cody, feuded with since he's been back, and they've had some just that incredible, trio of matches. But yeah, I definitely have some beef with Roman for sure.
To me, that's a part of Dusty's legacy too. All these kids, all these NXT kids, and not even kids anymore. They're legends now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's developed these guys. It's amazing.
Especially the girls though, because he really that's really such a industry shift where those were his NXT girls. And I think that he was really, really proud of what they were able to accomplish and to move the business forward for the ladies.
Love that. Before we let you go, where can everybody find you if they want to find you on social media? And just give another plug for the Dusty Rhodes Foundation.
Yeah, if you want to check in on me at Twitter, it's at Teal Margaret, Teil Margaret, or you can find us the Dusty Rhodes Foundation.org. You can find us on Instagram at the Dusty Rhodes Foundation. And we also have some new forms for contacting us if you want to submit a request, if you're a coach or you have a team and you're looking for some help. We'd love to hear from you.
All right, Teal, thank you so much for all the time. I really
Sure.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This was great.